Hey yo, what's good? Clearly, we are not playing a feisty heisty because that was last night. But it's whatever. We trying to get ourselves together. It's fine. Streamlabs just gonna have to eat a dick. What's the point, Streamlabs, of letting me set up the title and shit for the stream if you not gonna use it? But you know, it's whatever. It's whatever. It's whatever. It's fine. It's fine. So let me actually choose my correct speakers here because we're just all out of sorts. I don't understand why people like to call me right before I'm about to stream, but it is what it is. 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 So welcome to Monday Night Mental Health. I am your host, the lovely Dr. MyKo. And tonight, we are talking about things your therapist wants you to know. And I just typed that in my description without looking at it. Hell yeah. Hot. Podcast / just talking. Hot damn. There we go. Update that shit, which is just ridiculous. Thank you. They're not successfully updated. Oh, whatever. So let's go back over to Stream Chat. Fantastic. How's everybody doing? I am your resident mental health technician. I am the lovely Dr. MyKo. I have a PhD in rehab counseling and administration. I am a licensed clinical mental health counselor. I am a national certified counselor. I am a certified rehabilitation counselor, a master addictions counselor, and a licensed clinical addiction specialist. Case in point, I know my shit and I know what the fuck I'm talking about. But that doesn't do me any good because everybody else doesn't know what the fuck I'm talking about. So I do this lovely segment on Monday nights just to let people know what the fuck going on in the mental health world and what we mean when we say certain things, right? So I was gonna play some more mahjong today, but it's whatever. Apparently Streamlabs was like, nah, we gonna mess with you. And so I was like, that's what we was doing? Cool. Why are you back on speakers, my dude? Go back where you're supposed to be. There we go. Let's try that again. Sorry, y'all. Again, getting my shit together. There. Now we all heard the wow. What's good, Calvino? How's it going? So, tonight, my unconventional conventionalists, we are talking about things your therapist wants you to know. Now, obviously, yes, we beefing with Streamlabs night. Obviously, I am not the end-all be-all therapist. These are just some observations of things that I've noticed in my work with lovely people around the world, literally, because I do see international clientele. Just things I noticed, things that would just be more helpful to you as clients to get the best bet and best experience from your mental health embarkations. So one, I always encourage people to go seek mental health, at least just to try it, just to see what's going on, all that good stuff, right? So let's see. Let's start at the beginning of my process. Something I would like y'all to know about the process. It takes a lot of strength to make that first phone call, send that first email, and to fill out the paperwork, okay? It takes a whole lot, because not only now have you decided I am having difficulty that I can't deal with by myself, I am going to break out of my comfort zone and reach out for help. That is a big stepping stone. My sound is out of sync. Word. Like with my voice. or like my soundboard. Let me know. So, what was I saying? But yeah, so it takes a really big step. That's a lot of energy, like a whole lot. And so if you feel as though you cannot make the next step and actually make it to your appointment, because some agencies are good. I know I'm usually good about trying to schedule people within 48 hours just to kind of get them on my schedule in the rotation and have them seen. So the thing about it, though, is I've just worked up all this energy to reach out for help, and now I actually got to build myself up again to go to the appointment. That's a lot. So the thing I would like for you to know as a therapist is, one, be sure that you're aware that that first step is going to take a lot of energy, even if you don't think so or not. Really? Ha! So you want to fight me? Well then, come with it. I don't know what to tell you. I'll look into it later. I don't know what to tell you at all. Let me see something here. Because we beefing seriously with Streamlabs. See, this is why I usually don't fucks with it. Whatever. We'll get the Dondero to help us later. Point is, can you hear what I'm saying, though? That's the real message. I know I'm pretty and all that, but you ain't got to look at me to hear me, yo. But yeah, so if we are accepting of that fact, which hopefully you will be, don't allow them to schedule you the appointment within the week. Like, can we actually schedule for 2 weeks out? Because that is plenty of time that, you know, it takes to rebuild some energy to go through with it. Because step one, we gotta puff it up. Like, yeah, we're gonna get some help. Yeah, we're gonna get through it. We're gonna sign the paperwork. We're gonna put on our big person pants and get through this. Boom. That took a lot. That took a whole lot. That might make symptoms flare up again, all that stuff. It might start you back at what feels like square one. Give yourself 2 weeks, okay? Unless obviously it's crisis or it's severe or, you know, you're really upset about something. But give yourself some time to recoup and re-energize to actually go through it, sitting down with a complete stranger and bearing your soul, okay? So that's the first thing I want you to know as a therapist. The second thing, this goes for intake appointments with me. You can never talk too much in your first appointment. For me, there's extra intake paperwork I got to get through, but I usually try to make it a conversation. So, I mean, that's whatever. But I need to know as much about you as possible in the small amount of time we spend together, because I got notes to write, insurance to bill, progress notes to touch up on, and treatment planning to do. So if you feel like, I'm sorry, I'm talking too much, ramble, give me all of that. I need my first impression of you. I need to experience you in your natural habitat. So none of that, I feel like I'm rambling. Good, ramble. Let's run around. My attending skills as a therapist are immaculate. I will go down whatever rabbit hole you want to go down. I don't care. Because that feeds me information too. That feeds me information like, how do you think about whatever you're coming in with? How do you view yourself in relationships with others? How do you view your concerns? Do you view them as things that you should be able to deal with or not? Like, it lets me into your world before I decide to flip it upside down and knock everything out of it. Okay? The other thing in my intro, whenever I'm like introducing myself to clients, I always tell them they never have to apologize for crying, cursing, or just generally be upset. I don't give a fuck. I curse too. We grown. So that's the other thing I want you to know as a therapist, is to be yourself in session. Now, granted, that's going to be really hard because, again, sometimes our symptoms get in the way of us trying to make them better. Okay. So with that, you know, it's just like if you're coming in with something like, I've got low self-esteem or whatever, then automatically that's going to take hold. I'm not even going to lie about it. You're talking to a complete stranger. There's this illusionary hierarchy because I'm the professional and you're the person that's trying to come get the help, that makes you think, and makes that self-esteem thing go into overdrive. It's like, oh, I can't overtalk them, or oh, I can't do this, or oh, I can't do that. Be yourself. Just be prepared for me to point it out. Okay. The next thing as a therapist I would like for you to know is, let me get real close for this one. Just because I'm amazing looking, I'm intelligent, I know my shit as a therapist, does not mean I'm fucking magic. Okay? Let's just say that again. I'm not magic. Counseling is not magic. I don't give advice. Why don't I give advice? I don't give advice because it's not my job to give advice. My job is to hear you. My job is to validate you. My job is to help you piece through this scary mumbo jumbo that you got going on. It is not to say, there's the exit, go over there. That's not my job. You got to find the exit. You got to build the exit sometimes. And I can't do that for you because I don't go home with you. And I certainly don't take y'all home with me. I know people would like to think that, oh, my therapist is so cool. She gets me this, that, and the other. I probably won't think about you until the next time it's time for me to see you. I know. It's hard to believe. It's hard to believe. I mean, it may seem like I pull fairy dust out my ass and make miracles, but I'm not magic. I'm not. Therapy isn't magic. It can feel like that, but you got to let it work. So it's not magic. And when I say that, I mean you have to work. You got to work. You got to work. It's not comfy. You don't come in, cry, I hold you, we talk it out, me and you, we don't do that. No. You're going to show me where it hurts and I'm going to pull it open to see what's in it. That's what it is. I'm pretty sure I've said it on the stream before, but my favorite teacher in my master's program described counseling to me in the best way I've ever heard in my life. Okay. He said, counseling is not butterflies and rainbows. It's gore, it's bloody, it's spit, shit, ass, all of it. It is a bloody game of psychological chess. And that's why you like it so much. Damn, teach. Damn, right here. But he was right though. I'm not here to woo. I'm not here to do that. Support looks a lot different. Validation looks a lot different than just a pat on the head and saying it's going to be okay. Sometimes it's, what's that? You got a tummy ache? Let me reach in your guts real quick. Let me just pull your intestine out. Let's see. You see this green part right here? This is your self-doubt. We got to cut this out. You got to throw that on the floor. Okay. That's not going to work for us. So we got to rebuild you some artificial intestines and shove that back in there. It's surgery. It's surgery of the mind. It ain't brain surgery. It's mind surgery. Okay. So you have to work. And again, the other thing that's going to get in the way is your symptoms. Because again, our symptoms will retaliate and do what we've programmed them to do when we try to change them. Simple as that. So you have to work. And when I say work, I don't mean, okay, well, I'll journal every day. Okay, well, I'll, come to all my appointments. I mean, if I give you a behavioral homework assignment, you got to dig into that by yourself because the goal is for you not to need me. The goal is for you to become one with how you regulate yourself, your mind, your emotions, how you process your thoughts, learning to process your thoughts without somebody else's input, because that's how some of y'all get in trouble. But that's a whole nother conversation. So you have to work. If your therapist says, try this thing, do this thing, this is a nice behavioral homework assignment, this is a nice worksheet, at least consider it. And I'm not going to say do it because that's not what we're here for. We're not here to bully people into working on themselves because one, you got to want it. And two, it's up to you when you start working. So whether but as long as it's a conscious choice. So if you're choosing to do the behavioral homework, cool, we'll process that and what you decide to come up with. If you choose not to do the behavioral homework, guess what? We're going to process that too, because that's how counseling works. You don't just get to A to B. No. We are A subtitle 1, A subtitle 2, paragraph 3, line 46.2. We go through everything, right? So that's the other thing as a therapist I want you to know. You have to work. I, as a therapist, am never going to work harder than you, because when I leave our session, I have my life. I have my responsibilities. I've got my own baggage. I got my own shit. I'm not about to work harder than you because I still got to work on myself, my house, run this home, feed these animals, tend to this partner of mine. I ain't got time to do your work for you because that doesn't help me, and it sure as hell don't help you. So you have to work. Now, another thing that work means is when I'm in session with you and I'm pushing doesn't necessarily, feel negative. It can be challenging. It puts you in an uncomfortable spot. That's what it does. That's what pushing is. Puts you in an uncomfortable space. Usually I do that because you have chosen not to try it yourself outside of our sessions. And so you need a safe space to practice. Cool. But guess what? We gonna practice. So if I sit here and you've told me, well, I just feel like I can't make a decision without feeling guilty about what my family would think, I would definitely push you and ask, okay, so what's worst case scenario? And nobody has ever told anyone probably, but counselors and therapists are trained to sit with silence, discomfort, and challenge. We eat that shit. We eat that shit for breakfast. So if I sit here and I was like, okay, well, what's worst case scenario if you do decide to do something and your family doesn't like it? That's visually making you visualize a scenario, because that's the uncertainty that, creeps into all of our subconscious and makes us uncomfortable and fearful of whatever may happen, even though we don't know what okay, give me a description, or what does that look like is, Yona. Well, we 5-10 minutes into session, you got a whole 40 left. You better fucking figure it out. Because that is basically, I don't want to sit in the hot seat right now. Don't make me think about this. And that tells my sadistic brain, push. No, really, tell me. Get ridiculous with it. I don't care. Does the world explode? Will your mother kill herself? Like, what is worst case scenario? Because it'll do one of a couple of things. One, it's definitely going to push you to make you think about it and make something more concrete to realize what you're actually afraid of. Two, it might actually end up, you figure out what the fuck I'm afraid of is ridiculous and highly unlikely. And three, it lets you visualize an outcome whether or not you choose to proceed. And that shit's important, because that's work. That's work. I don't have to sit here and visualize what's worst case scenario, but at the same time, I don't want to sit here with you while you cry about the same problems every week, because that doesn't help you. I feed and I thrive off of people being able to help themselves, and I ain't got time to be sitting here starving with y'all. So, something else I would like y'all to know as a therapist: you're not my only client. You're not. So, especially with young adults, or people who are just kind of, on the lonely side, or just don't really have that many social skills, I need y'all to realize my world, my practice, my livelihood does not revolve around solely you. That is why I cannot turn around an appointment in 24 hours. And if you're in crisis, then I'm not the one for you. You need to go to your nearest emergency room or behavioral health center, because there's nothing I can be able to do for you that they can't do immediately on the spot, because that is their job. I have had countless just kind of experiences with, can you meet today? Even though it's 9 a.m. on a Saturday. No. 12 a.m. on a Sunday. I don't even bother to respond. One, because I've probably already outlined this for you in my intro, because I'm very thorough. And two, counselors have lives. Especially with my college kids, they don't seem to understand that just because my lobby in my office isn't full and it's awaiting you when you get to your appointment doesn't mean that there aren't appointments before you, after you, the rest of the week, the rest of the year. So that's also why it's important to keep your appointment. Let me say it's a little bit louder for other people in the back. Keep your appointment, okay? Keep it. Because again, you're not the only people we see. And if you decide to no-show just because you don't feel like it and you don't want to let me know that, someone's going to slide into your weekly slot and you're going to be mad when you can't get back in for 2 weeks. Dims the brakes, Minky. The other thing I would love for people to know as a therapist, when we're going through in our intake or screening or whenever you do it, the intro that tells you everything that you need to know, what my credentials are, what style I use, my policy on appointments, my policy on how often I respond if you're online, confidentiality, what that means, when I break it, what can you talk about, what you can't talk about, all of that stuff. When I'm going over that stuff, pay attention. Because I don't have time to have this surprise conversation when you're just in here mad and upset one day. It's like, oh, she made me so mad, I just want to kill her. Oh, ma'am, that's one of the phrases. And now we got to explore this. You can't say shit like that. You can't. I mean, you can. And if you mean it, then we really got to dig into it. But I'm just saying, you got to really think about how forms of expression and word choice here, right? You can't just be saying stuff willy-nilly. Because one, we're going to dig into it as deep as possible. We're going to poke it, prod it, and make sure we know what it is by the end of it. And you're going to get tired of it. So read what we give you all the way through. If you don't know what a word means, ask us. We are here to cradle you in your most vulnerable state. I ain't about to poke fun at you because you can't read. Okay? I just need to make sure that you understand what everything on this paper means. Like, for instance, I get this experience all the time with my online therapy clients. In my intro, it outlines that I answer messages, chats, text, whatever, between the hours of 10 a.m. and 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And within that time block, I check it every 2 hours, which means if I've checked you and, I don't respond again for 2 hours, that's why. There's also a line in my intro about urgent messages. I think it's the dumbest thing on the platform because everyone thinks everything's urgent and it's just abused, but whatever. Urgent for me means I will check your message first. Doesn't mean I'm going to hop, skip, jump, do none of that. Because again, I don't work harder than you. And again, if it's as urgent as a crisis and you're feeling pretty severe or unsafe, you don't need me. You need the emergency room. Take your ass on. So read what they give you to read. Let's see, we got about 5 minutes. What other things as a therapist do I want you to know? I would like you to know that if you don't work, you're not going to see the changes you want. That one seems pretty obvious, but you'd be surprised when you work with people in a helping industry. No stone unturned here. If you don't do the work, you're not going to feel any changes. You're not going to see anything different, okay? And again, work looks like trying a new behavior, even though it's uncomfortable. Work looks like trying a new thought process, trying a new technique, even if it seems cheesy. People look at me like I'm damn crazy when they've got self-esteem, self-confidence issues. And I say, cool, this is what I want you to do for the next 2 weeks. Whenever you get up, whenever you pass by a mirror, I want you to stand there for 60 seconds in your best power pose. I don't give a fuck if you pretend that you Superman, Wonder Woman, what the fuck ever. I need you to make eye contact with yourself, look at your body, and power pose. Stand there for 60 seconds every day. And they're like, oh my God, Dr. MyKo, that's crazy. If it's crazy, then do it. If I'm crazy, then it won't work. Because that's the other thing I want you to know. Just because you feel like it don't work and you ask a professional to help you, don't treat the professional like they don't know what the fuck they're talking about. Don't treat a professional like they don't know what the fuck they're talking about. I've spent half my life in school to know what the fuck I'm talking about. Now, granted, I'm not going to know your 100% narrative because you are the expert in your own life, okay? The expert in your own life. But I'm the expert over here on how to fix this shit. So don't sit there and pretend like I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. That's annoying. And that doesn't help you. That just helps you fester anger and frustration and then put it out on the wrong person. And guess what? I ain't the one. I'm not the one because you just told me everything. And now I get to hit you where it hurts on purpose. And it's going to be therapeutic. There's no malice in it whatsoever. It's like, I'm sensing frustration and I get the sense it's connected to blah, 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 whatever the fuck you talked about. Right. Don't attack the professional for doing the job that you asked them to do. The other thing The other thing I'd like you to know as a therapist is, that's a good one, but I don't think that's the one. So treat the professional like the professional. Try it at least once. Try it at least once. And if you don't try it, have reasons that you don't try it. And again, if the technique's cheesy, I don't give a shit. Try it anyway. Change. That's the other thing I want you to know. Change. Just like counseling's not pretty and frou-frou and rainbow, change feels awful. It is the most uncomfortable thing you've ever felt or experienced in your life, because there's fear, there's uncertainty, there is just complete, disregard for what I know as a person, because it has nothing to do with what could happen should I do X, Y, or Z. Change doesn't feel good until you settle. So change is discomfort. So basically, like at my day job at the university, I am one of the most successful women of color in the industry of addiction and recovery services. Addiction and recovery was never something I ventured or sought out to do in my career. In fact, it's something I strayed away from seriously. But I got thrust into a leadership position, into a project. It was uncomfortable. It made me mad. It made me cuss, fuss, and carry it on. But I'm good at this shit. And I've built an entire career around this shit. Was it uncomfortable then? Absolutely. It's a change I didn't ask for, a change I didn't want, but was thrust upon me because it was supposed to be. But here I am. Thriving, surviving, flourishing, and becoming one of the wonderful poster child faces of Black recovery in the United States of America. But y'all know that if y'all knew my government. But you don't. But no, like for serious though, change does not feel good. Change is uncomfortable. Caterpillars turn to fucking goo before they become butterflies. Fucking goo. It's gross. It's snot. And you could easily just be poured down the drain or stomped out. But you see it through, you get to float around and be one of the butterfly homies and get to be pretty and shit, right? So change is not comfortable. And the very last thing I want you to know as a therapist, you're going to feel worse than you did before you came into my office. You're going to feel worse than you started when you start working on this problem, because we have taken a lid off the demons. We are looking at them. We are making eye contact with them. We are calling them by name. Say, yo, self-esteem, bring your ass. I got to talk to you real quick. And we squaring up outside. It's not going to feel good. It's going to be hard as shit when you start this. But the very last thing I want you to know as a therapist is when you start, push till you finish. Because the more you continue, the more consistent you are with practicing the cheesy techniques and practicing the thought stopping and challenging your self-talk, even though it's hard, and failing one day and succeeding the next, you get better at that shit. And when you get better at that shit, you got it. You got it. Random tidbits of things that I want you to know as a therapist. It's okay to switch therapists. If you don't vibe after session 3 or 4, it's okay to be like, you know what? I kind of want to try someone else. Agencies have more than one therapist, so your prices shouldn't change. Try it. Try a different therapist. Don't be afraid to sit there and be like, oh, I don't think I want to do therapist. Really challenge yourself. Why not? Dude, therapists are cool as shit. Like cool as shit, and they are like unicorns in the industry. So if you're ever thinking about a career change and you give a shit about people and you don't really care about how much money you make and you identify as male, go become a counselor. I'm telling you, you are a rare commodity, and especially if you're a person of color, we need you, baby. We need you. But you can change therapists if you don't vibe. Other tidbit. If you don't like an approach your therapist is taking, or you don't feel like something is working, say that shit. We invite you to be your whole selves in session. And if they're not doing that, then they ain't the right therapist for you. But we invite you to be your whole self. And if something ain't vibing right, like, man, I don't believe in this shit. This shit ain't working. All right, tell me about it. What's going on? So that we can find something that does work. There's no sense in sitting through something that doesn't fit you, right? So, last couple of tidbits of things your therapist wants you to know. You can go back to therapy more than once. You can always come back. Life finds a way. I'm just kidding. Life continues on, bruh. Life happens continuously. It happens over and over. And sometimes that shit's easy to weather because, all right, I'm out of therapy. I got my new coping skills. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. But now this giant wave is coming and I ain't got a surfboard in my toolbox. Shit. Let me go back to therapy and get a toolbox. You can go back to the same therapist or you can get you a different one for a different perspective. And for our frequent flyers, if you know what works for you in therapy, if you know what kind of approach you need, if you know you need a firm counselor, a soft counselor, someone that's nurturing, someone that's encouraging, someone that calls you a bullshit lie to your face, say that shit to your therapist. Let them know what you need so that they know who they need to be for you, what they need to be for you to get you to where you need to go. It's that simple. There are no time frames on how many sessions. There's no magic formula that says, okay, about 10 sessions, you should be good. That's bullshit. People are different. People's concerns are different. That's garbage. That's horse but donkey bullshit. Sorry. I wish it was straightforward. I wish everything was cookie cutter. Diagnoses. There's nothing wrong with having a label slapped on you because you had a label slapped on you the day you was born, whatever color you was born. Next. All right. We've been on this bitch for 33 minutes. So, Don Darrowing 101 is coming up, but really final shit. Really final shit. Every problem that you have, every concern that you have is self-constructed. And I'm going to let y'all marinate on that one. It's something you made. And you have to do the work to dismantle and change it. So, with that being said, bruh. So, next week, I will be with my lovely bestie, Snooze. You can find him at Inebriated. Well, actually, his name's Glitch. Y'all don't get to call him Snooze. I'll fight you if you do. So, if you've never been on his channel, he's awesome. He really does. He's quite the character when he plays Fallout. His screams and shrieks are ridiculous. And when he plays Pokemon, he's like really fucking into it. You should go check him out. But now, which is it? Hold on. Oh, there it is. There it is. Way to go, Streamlabs. Thank you. The Don Darrow is doing Don Darrowing 101 right now. Fucking go raid his ass. There we go. Look at that. But Don Darrowing 101 is hilarious. It's funny. It's him and Arugs. Never. I mean, if that's what you want to do, Stone Mage, that's on you. But me and Glitch are talking about parenting next week. We're going to do a full hour. Yes, I finally did it. I finally did the raid. Hey, shout out to Streamlabs because you had that. But we are talking about parenting. It's going to be an hour long. We're going to start at 7 o'clock and it's going to be fire. So catch y'all next week for that. And we'll catch you tomorrow for some pud weapon, some zombies and stuff. Bye.